Okay. Now I'm ready.
Indiana basketball took down Iowa 74-68 in a much-needed win at Assembly Hall, ending a 3-game losing streak. This is the Hoosier Illustrated Postgame Wrap-Up. I'm Drew Rosenberg. This is Kyler Staley. Kyler, let's start with Anthony Leal. I think that's the only place we can really start this game. Anthony Leal played really his best game as a Hoosier. Career high, 13 points, 7 rebounds. Played really big minutes tonight and was huge on both ends. What did you see from him?
Yep, this is the true definition, when you put in a lot of hard work and you wait your time to get these type of opportunities. Anthony Leal, ultimate teammate, like Mike Woodson said, he's waited. He's put in the work day in and day out when the opportunities just haven't been there for him. He's been, on the very end of the rotation, very end of the bench. He got minutes when he was a freshman under Archie Miller, but when Mike Woodson came in, his minutes really dipped. But Anthony Leal, just a great teammate, and he finally got this opportunity, and he stepped up for Indiana. Was he 4 of 6, from field goal? Like you mentioned, career high, and he knocked down 3 threes, which were huge, made key plays defensively. And, he hasn't always, put up the big time production, but I feel like at the time this season, he's came in and he just played hard. And that's what you're going to get from Anthony Lee all the time. You're not going to get all these, high scoring outputs. You're not going to get 13 points a game from him, but you're going to get somebody in here that knows the defense, that knows what to expect, and knows what Mike Woodson wants. And he's just going to be a leader. So tonight, the hard work finally paid off for Anthony Leal. I'm really happy to see it. I know he's worked hard. He's a true Indiana Hoosier through and through. Mr. Basketball, he bleeds Indiana, and he was rewarded for his efforts tonight.
Yeah, it was a really big performance from him. Another guy really stepped up in his return, Khalil Ware. Malik Renew went down and was a big loss, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But Khalil Ware, in his first game back, really led the way. 23 points, 8 for 10 from the field, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and his just impact at the rim was felt pretty much the whole night as Iowa really struggled to get anything going at the rim.
Right. What a gutsy performance, first of all. You could tell, especially towards the end of the game, when Malik went down, this was all Khalil. This was his front court. He had to step up, and he did it not 100%. You can obviously tell that fighting through the pain. He had that big time dunk that's going to be replayed for, the rest of the season and future highlights for Indiana. But when he landed, he instantly grabbed his leg. And there were times where you thought, hey, Mike Wilson probably going to take him out, going to play Peyton Sparks or go really small with Anthony Walker. But, Khalil just kind of just gutted it out. And that's big to see. I think at this point you can't question his toughness at all. Even though I feel like that's been questioned quite a bit throughout his college career. I mean, the kid's tough. Obviously, you're a little worried about Malik Renew right now, for him to go down early in the game, a twisted ankle, barely put any pressure on it. I know he returned to the bench for a little bit, but then he left and he went back on crutches. We didn't see him for the rest of the game. So obviously you don't know what's going on with there, but he really stepped up tonight. Khalil Ware did, and I'll say Anthony Walker did as well, and Peyton Sparks in his minutes as well. I think the front court really stepped up when the best player on this Indiana team wasn't available tonight. So major props to Khalil Ware. Indiana needed him. And obviously, Indiana missed him, when he was out these last 2 games, missed his link, like Mike Woodson said, the way he impacts the game on both ends of the floor. So that's huge for Indiana. Hopefully he can kind of get healthier, in the next few days before Penn State.
Yeah, you mentioned a guy who I think is his performance tonight is, I think 100% it's going to get overlooked. Was not really talked about, and that's Anthony Walker. I mean, he didn't really fill up the stat sheet, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, but just made the right play, had a timely dunk when Indiana was struggling to score points, did a good job on the glass in his minutes, and really made some good passes and just helped keep the ball moving, which Indiana, the last couple of games, had struggled to move the ball. Tonight, 18 assists after their previous 2 games not reaching 10 assists.
Yeah, I mean, he's just Anthony Walker, just a savvy vet. He's going to come in and he's going to, do the things that a senior like him should do. So, and then you just mentioned like Peyton Sparks. I mentioned it a little bit. I want to give props to him. I thought he came in and played really hard. Not really the type of game that you wanted to play Peyton Sparks. I feel like if Malik Renew wasn't hurt, you probably wouldn't have seen a whole lot of Peyton Sparks' game just due to Iowa's athleticism and their length and the way that they can run and gun. And that's just not really Peyton Sparks' strength right now when it comes to playing those fast-paced teams. So overall, front court played really well, and you got to see McKenzie and Baco a little bit, play a little front court action as well. So that's always good to see, and I think that's pretty exciting to just see his skill set open up a little bit more.
Yeah, now with Indiana not playing until Saturday against Penn State here at Assembly Hall, the question now turns to the statuses of senior point guard Xavier Johnson and Malik Reneau, two really important players. When this team's at their best, those two guys are a big reason why if they're playing well. Xavier Johnson had a dunk attempt, landed really hard on his arm and grabbed it, left the game immediately. Reneau, we saw looked like he turned his ankle, not exactly sure of the timeline of him. And Woodson said he's not sure. So that is a real concern for this team moving forward with both those guys potentially missing time moving forward.
Yeah, you obviously don't want to speculate a little bit, but like Mike Woodson said, and like we saw, they both left in pain. Malik Reneau, I feel like his is not as severe as what X looks like, and that's just pure, just from what I see. Obviously, no insider information. We don't know anything about that. Malik Reneau, he struggled to put a lot of weight on it, but he was still walking a little bit, and the fact that he was able to come to the bench a little bit and kind of cheer on his team is kind of a good sign. But moving to Xavier Johnson, it didn't look good. I will say just his reaction immediately, and the amount of screaming that he did, and just how much pain he was in. And you can tell just by the reaction of the team as well that they cut, I'm sitting at home and they cut the camera angle to the bench a little bit. And you can just tell those guys are just heartbroken. And it really is heartbreaking. You can say what you want about Xavier Johnson if you're an Indiana fan, his play as of late and just kind of, his wild card behavior. But you don't want to see a player get hurt like that. And it's just a guy that's been fighting injuries for the past 3 years. And, just wanted to have one healthy season. His last year in college, you wanted to see him a little bit better, and you just hate to see that. So obviously prayers up. You don't want to, speculate and everything, but, Indiana's got a few days to get ready for Penn State. We'll just kind of see what their statuses are moving forward, but they're not ready to go. Like Mike Woodson said, it's next man up. So this team's got to be ready to compete. You just got to continue to play tough. It starts on the defensive end. I think they've looked really good the past 2 games on the defensive end. I think they've kind of found their identity again. So that's just being a gutsy, a gritty defensive team. So, it doesn't take a whole lot. It doesn't take talent to play defense. It just takes effort. So we'll just see what Indiana can do.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Indiana's back in action Saturday at noon here at Assembly Hall. For Hoosier Illustrated, I'm Drew Rosenberg. That's Kyra Staley. As always, make sure you're following Indiana_FRN on Twitter, Facebook, and checking out the HoosierIllustrated.com for all things IU athletics. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.